Brand equity can be measured by understanding the sources of brand equity and how they affect consumer behavior, and this is done through brand audits. Measuring how these sources and their outcomes are changing over time, and this is done by brand tracking. A brand audit is a strategic exercise that is done on a regular basis, for example annually, to assess the brand health, identify its sources of brand equity, and find ways to improve such equity. This is done by conducting two exercises. Brand inventory. In this exercise, the brand takes inventory of all the products and services that are sold by the company and all their associated brand elements and supporting marketing programs. It's advisable while conducting this exercise to also include competitive brands and their products and marketing activities for comparison. This helps in identifying what the current consumer perception could be based on, and also helps assessing how consistent the different products and their brand elements are, and whether they are all in line with the primary brand and deliver the same message. The second exercise is brand exploratory. This is a research activity that's conducted either by an internal research team or through an agency to understand what customers think and feel about the brand and its product category to identify sources of brand equity. This activity uses qualitative research techniques including word associations. Here, consumers are asked what words come to their mind when they hear the brand name. This is to identify the possible brand associations in consumers' minds. Visualization. Here, consumers are asked to create a collage from magazine photos or pictures to show their perceptions about the brand. Brand personification. In this technique, participants are asked to describe what type of person that comes to mind when they hear the brand name. For example, if the brand was a person, what would it be like? Where would it live? What would it wear? And so on. This is done to identify the brand personality and give it human qualities. Laddering. In this technique, a series of why questions are asked, with the aim of gaining a deeper understanding of what consumers really want. The second way to measure brand equity is brand tracking. The goal here is to measure how the sources of brand equity and their outcomes are changing over time. To track this, the brand collects information from consumers on a regular basis over time. This is done using quantitative research methods such as surveys that allow for tracking brand health and equity based on a number of key dimensions that are measured and quantified from time to time. This helps brand managers by providing consistent measurements and benchmarks, which could help in guiding their decision-making. Once brand equity has been built, using the different methods we've discussed in the previous lessons, now the brand needs to be managed. Brand management is a long-term process. As we've seen, consumers make decisions about a brand based on accumulated knowledge and experiences they have had with this brand over time. So it's important for a company to take the long-term view when it comes to brand management and to ensure that any actions and communication to the customers is in line with the long-term brand view. For example, some retailers, when they face inventory issues or cash issues and want to liquidate inventory very fast, they sometimes resort to launching repeated promotions and discounts to raise cash quickly. However, if the management here doesn't take into consideration the long-term view of the brand and its positioning in the market, it could damage the brand image, and the company might never be able to recover from such damage. Managing brand equity happens through reinforcing the brand message over and over with the consumer through the different touchpoints and marketing channels. In particular, it's done to remind consumers of the products the brand is selling and the benefits they offer, as well as the differentiating factors the brand has over the competition and the positive associations the brand wants consumers to remember about it. The challenge here is to be creative and innovative. while staying consistent and sticking to the winning positioning that has made the brand successful in the first place. Some brands, when they want to grow quickly or achieve more financial gains, they are faced with some trade-offs between going after the money or sticking to their origins and what consumers have come to like them for. For example, when Starbucks started expanding very quickly, it reached the point where it started losing its soul, as described by Howard Schultz in his book. The company was opening a lot of new stores, and new employees were not getting trained adequately on the Starbucks way of doing things. And at some point, the service at the store and the customer experience started to suffer. The company was very good at recognizing how damaging this could be for the brand, and it launched a massive training campaign where it had to close all the stores at the same time for training purposes. In fact, this was a good example for brand revitalization, where an old brand that has started to fade and suffer gets successfully turned around and starts gaining back the lost brand equity. Such revitalization efforts could succeed only if the original positioning of the brand is still valid, and the brand only needs to go back to basics and restore its success. However, in many cases, the old positioning of a brand is no longer relevant, and the brand reinvention strategy is needed. Reinvention strategy usually starts with the product, by fixing or changing some aspects that have led to sales decline and market share loss. Then the brand needs to refresh all sources of brand equity, while also trying to establish new ones. This could be done by expanding brand awareness by reminding consumers with the brand again, improving the existing brand associations in consumers' mind, or creating new positive ones. At some point in their life, brands could be facing a brand crisis, where something could happen that can damage the brand image if not rectified quickly. Brands should always be prepared to deal with such situations, and the key to dealing with the brand crisis is being swift and sincere. The faster the company responds to the crisis, the better it can contain the damage and avoid spreading rumors or false accusations. At the same time, the response from the company must be perceived by consumers as sincere. That is, it should acknowledge the problem and promise to solve it. The more brand equity the company had built over the years, especially when it comes to trustworthiness, the more likely it can recover from a brand crisis. That's why, as we mentioned, managing brand equity is a long-term game. Every time a company makes a new product, it has three choices: developing new brand elements for the new product, applying existing brand elements to the new product, or using a combination of both. When a company decides to use the established brand to introduce the new product, this is called brand extension, and in this case, the established brand is called parent brand. Brand extensions are divided into line extension. This is when new products are launched within the same product category of the parent brand and they use the same brand name. For example, they could come with new flavors, different colors, or different package sizes. Category extension. This is if the new products that are launched are of a different product category, but they still use the same brand name of the parent brand. When a parent brand is associated with multiple products through brand extensions, it could be called family brand. Now, there are obvious reasons to go for brand extensions, since creating brand equity is not easy, and once established, it's considered a valuable asset that can give power to products launched under its name. However, brand extensions have disadvantages as much as they have advantages. So let's see both sides. Advantages of brand extensions include facilitating new product acceptance. Since the brand is already known in the market, when a new product is launched under the same name, consumers can adopt it just because it comes from the same company that they are loyal to. They make assumptions based on their experience with the other products from the same brand. This in return benefits the parent company in the form of reduced marketing costs to launch the new product. Providing positive feedback. Brand extensions can also provide feedback benefits as the new brand extension can renew interest in the parent brand by expanding market coverage through the new products. On the other side, brand extensions could lead to brand dilution. This happens when consumers no longer associate the brand with a specific product or similar products, and thus they might forget the brand altogether, affecting the parent brand negatively. If the new product under the parent brand fails, it might reflect on the entire brand and its other products. Failure of the new product. Sometimes the parent brand and its positioning is just not right for the new product. This is particularly important for retailers that are building their private labels these days, to know when to do a brand extension and when a new brand name for the new product is needed. Amazon, as we mentioned earlier, started making private labels. To give them the push of the parent brand, it showed consumers that these are made by Amazon. But some of those products have received their own brand names, which are suitable for the product, while others maintain the Amazon branding. For example, Mama Bear is for baby products, Good Threads is a fashion Amazon brand, and so on. In my opinion, Amazon should have followed the same branding strategy when it decided to open a fashion store. Instead of the name Amazon Style, it should have been given another fashionable name that does not contain Amazon. While some categories such as groceries and office supplies could be suitable or even forgiving for the Amazon brand extension, the fashion category isn't. The most important consideration when it comes to brand extensions is whether or not they fit into the mind of the consumer. The company BIC made its name by launching inexpensive, disposable products such as Bic pens, disposable lighters, and disposable razors that were all sold at the checkout at the stores. It used the same brand across those different products and it worked fine. However, in 1989, it launched a totally different product under the same name. Let's watch the ad.
New Parfum Bic, the pizzazz of Paris in a crazy little pocket perfume. From Paris straight to you. Parfum Bic, Paris in your pocket.
Maybe we can start by asking ourselves a question. Would I wear a perfume from a brand that sells cheap pens and razors? The answer is probably not. That's why this product, although supported by a $20 million marketing campaign, has failed. Even if some brand extensions succeed, all brands have boundaries, and you can only stretch a brand so far. In this case, it's better to launch the products under new names and create a brand portfolio. A brand portfolio is the set of all brands and brand lines offered by the same company in a particular category. For example, Gap Inc. used extensions and acquisitions to build its portfolio of brands. It launched the brand Gap and its extension Gap Kids, and also has separate brands as part of the portfolio. And these are Banana Republic and Athleta, which were both acquired, and Old Navy. Throughout the years, Gap added other brands to the portfolio and then offloaded them as part of its brand portfolio management strategy. The aim of a brand portfolio is to maximize market coverage while at the same time minimize brand overlap. That is, each brand should be targeting a defined market segment and have a specific positioning. Which takes us to the second section of this course, and that is positioning.